Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. We are back with another nervous guide video. If you don't know what that is, stick around, I'll explain it all in a minute. But we're here to do the nervous guide to Calamity Jane, currently touring around the UK for a couple more weeks. So if you want to know everything you need to know before we get into the show, stick around, we'll get into it in 2 whole seconds. So yeah, hello, welcome back. It's been a while since I've been in this setup, so also welcome back here. Let's get into it. For every show that I see, I like to do 2 separate videos, time permitting. First one being this is the nervous guide video. Like I said, it's everything you need to know about the show before you go. So things like view from the seat, information about the theatre if needs be, content warnings, sensory warnings, and recently merch. Oh, lovely, 5 fingers, a whole hand if you will. So yeah, that is this video, and then the second video I do is the review. The review is always in inverted commas because at the end of the day I am just someone who likes watching theatre, and that is okay. And sometimes, slash quite a lot of the time, I go and watch shows alone, and although solo watching should be a thing and everyone should do it at least once, the downside of solo watching is that you have no one to talk about the show afterwards, so I talk to a camera. Ta-da! Anyway, let's get into it because otherwise it's going to be a rambly video, slash more rambly because we all know I like a chat. Let's do the nervous guide to this show, Calamity Jane. Where shall we start? I think I'm going to start with view from my seat because it's always easiest. So I watched this show at the Walls Grand. It was very last minute purchasing of said ticket. I booked on the Wednesday, I watched on the Friday. Yeah, it was that kind of turnaround. So the choices of seats were limited, let's put it that way. I think when I was booking there was either a few on the outskirts of the stalls, as in the outside, so view may not have been the best. There was a few in dress circle, but they were, wait for it, £85. I'm sorry, but what? And then there was a few more seats in the grand circle where I chose to sit, which was a little bit more of a decent price, a good price if you will. So I sat in F33 and F32. As always, my view from my seat will be here. It was a pretty decent seat. I have sat in the grand circle at the Grand multiple times, even probably quite a few this year. So I knew what I was getting in for. The other thing I have to mention, I don't think I have ever done so, but if you go through the Grand's website, they have now got the like approximate view from your seat images when you click on tickets. I think everyone should do that, it's very helpful. Obviously you've got things like seat plan when it comes to London shows, but yeah, can everyone just put like an approximate this is what your view is going to be situation. We were just off the curve in the grand circle, so a teeny tiny bit of front stage, as I was looking at it, left, which I assume is stage right, I don't know stage left from stage right very well, was cut off, but nothing happened in that small amount of space, so everything was okay view wise. Legroom, pretty decent. Again, with the curve comes a slight diminishment, probably not a word, of legroom, but it wasn't uncomfortable and there was no one in front of me as well, so you haven't got the person in front of you's back pushing your chair into your legs. Wow. Anyway, so all in all, decent ticket and decent seat. Where should we go next? Let's talk quickly running time. I don't know why I said it like that. Running time of this show is 2 hours, including a 20-minute interval. What I always love about the Grand is that on entrance, if you stay in the stalls and you go round to the right, they have a board saying welcome to and the name of the show, and also ends at an approximate ending time. Always love that. Always will take a picture of it. In fact, boop, there it is. The Grand also gives it an age guidance of 12 plus, which is interesting. There was definitely children in the audience when I saw it. Not like young children, but there were younger audience members, which I had no problem with. I'm assuming it's, I don't know, but it's what's recommended on the Grand website. So that is running time and age guidance. Let's get into the sensory and the content. Content wise, for the most part, nothing to warn you about. There's not nudity as such. One character does strip down to their underwear, but their underwear consists of a corset and long pants. Don't we love the olden days? And that's as close as nudity gets. There's a bit of smooching, but it's not like heavy smooching. It's just like mwah, I love you kind of smooching. But yeah, content wise, you're okay. Sensory wise, oh hello, let's get into it. If you don't know, when I go and see a show, I tend to make a list of everything I need to remember sensory wise. That is my list. Just wait a second. Before you go into the auditorium at the Grand, they like to put some like warnings about the show, etc. So for this one it says, Calamity Jane, this show contains smoke, haze and occasional loud noises. This performance is 2 hours with an interval, which I've already mentioned. If we go to my notes, and before we get into my notes, my big things that affect me are loud noises, visible guns, gunshots, occasionally flashing lights, sometimes violence depending on the situation. So when I saw loud noises, and I've kind of heard bits and bobs, I knew what the loud noises were gonna be. So getting into my notes, in Act 1 there are visible guns held throughout Act 1 and for the most part Act 2, mainly by two characters, Calamity Jane herself and Bill, who has a full name. We're just going to call him Bill. Sorry. They are mainly the two people who hold guns on stage. So anyone else, yeah. There is one more person in Act 2 who holds a gun, shows it. We'll get into that in a couple of seconds. But the two people you gotta keep your eyes on are Calamity Jane and Bill. During the first song of the show, there is a gun fired by Bill. You get some kind of slight warning that he's going to do it. You see him bring it out of the holster, hold it out, one solo gunshot. That's it. The gunshots in this show are not like mega loud, but they have got quite a resonance. Is that the word I want to say? Probably no. It's a sound. It's clearly a gunshot sound. They are loud, not massively loud. The auditorium that the Grand is in did mean that it bounced quite a lot of places, and I did cover my ears for most of these. But yeah, so first gunshot happens in song number 1. That one's kind of muffled because it is also fired during the song, so the music played kind of helps there. The second gunshot happens, I've put after hubbub on stage. Basically, the show for the most part is set in a theatre. In this theatre there is a hubbub from the audience of said theatre because something they were expecting to happen didn't happen, and so they all go towards the stage, which is at the back of the stage, if you will, and like, hey, it's quite a kerfuffle, but they're all shouting at the one person on the stage. Calamity, to silence the crowd, fires a gun to obviously make everyone be quiet, and then a bird falls from the ceiling and everyone laughs, because why wouldn't they? So that is second gunshot. The next set of gunshots is 4 lots of 2 shots. I'm pretty sure it's 4, could have been 3. They are fired from a different type of gun. Don't question me because I don't know anything about guns, but they are fired again by Calamity on the cart coming back from Chicago. So Carrie Hope Fletcher, who is playing Calamity Jane, is sat at the front of the cart, and she fires to one side twice, she fires to the other side twice. There is a little bit of dialogue and then she does the same again, so fires one side twice, fires the other side twice. Again, same kind of gunshot sound. They are audible, they are not massively loud, but at the same time they're still a gunshot sound. And then the last one in Act 1 is another gun sound and gunshot to calm down, another hubbub. Same situation as the other one. There is a hubbub from the audience in the theatre, in the show, and to silence said noises, gunshot fired. There we go. That is Act 1. Literally, the amount of times I wrote the word gun in my notes is a lot. Speaking of gun, let's go to Act 2. Act 2, we have 2 more guns. And this is just the gunshots. There is also a few occasions when both Calamity and Bill, mainly Bill, pulls out guns from holsters and kind of warns people not to get any closer to him by going but nothing sounds. So in Act 2, this time the third person that I previously mentioned, the role of Katie, shouts to one of the audience members in said theatre that I previously mentioned, pass me your gun. She then holds the gun, points it in the direction of Calamity, who is front stage. Calamity at the time is holding a bottle. After quite a lot of, I can't say it any other way, build up, a nervous, shaking Katie fires her gun. At the same time she fires her gun, Bill fires his, and the glass in the bottle, or the glass bottle breaks in Calamity's hand. And that is pretty much the end of the audible gunshots. The final gun visible is in the very end of the show. The gun is passed to Calamity by one of the other cast members. It is then held in front of her, like in her midriff area, and the light kind of zones in on said gun and moves away from the cast on stage until it's just circling the gun. That gun is fired, there is no sound, and it says the end. It is still a visible gun, so I wanted to mention it. So yeah, basically, unsurprisingly, for a show that is set in the Wild West, if you will, or that kind of ilk of a show, the main sensory warnings are about gunshots and visible guns. But it's not scary in the long run, and yeah, like I said previously and throughout this video, they are gunshot sounds, and I did cover my ears, but they're not like really, really loud guns. So I don't know, I do like to warn you about these things, so I have. There we are, that is pretty much everything nervous guidey for this show. The final thing, which I always nearly forget, is merch. For this show there was other pieces of merch, and they are actually photographed in the back of the programme. Ooh, look at that. I literally bought this programme, the souvenir programme, for the high price of £10, and it is absolutely massive. I didn't take my big bag last night, so I was carrying this the whole way back to the car. I mean, why can't they all be like yay big? Also, if you haven't already seen this, my video on this, just go and watch it. The video and the show. But yes, £10 for the programme. There was a pin set which consists of 5 pins. I don't want that many pins. I like one solo pin, please, for any show. We don't need a 5-pin set, which I think also cost £14, and I just like, no, that would hurt my heart. But if you're in the market for a pin set, they did have one, but I do have the programme for memories and for times like this when I go, ooh, programme, thumbnail. But yes, that is the end of this video. Like I said, the next video will be the review, which is in inverted commas. I was just trying to wrap everything up. But all that's left to say is the usual, which is thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you come back next time for more theatre-based fun and frolics. But yeah, all that's left to say is the usual, which is this. So long, farewell, Wiedersehen, and goodbye. Bye.